Chapter 3 touches on a few different things that I found interesting and intriguing, even as it relates to my adolescence. One component being the idea of contemporary segregation. I can even relate it to my adolescence. Basically, the first 14 years of my life were spent in schools that were 100% African American. Even growing up, we're so predisposed to this idea of segregation and sticking to our kind per se that we don't really understand, and we don't really know that this is abnormal or different or negative in any kind of way. It wasn't until I got to high school when my parents and I made a conscious effort to send me to a high school that was culturally diverse that I began to see things a little bit more clearly. For example, when I graduated from elementary school, I graduated number 7 in my graduating class out of 130. I felt that I was achieving academically. I felt that I knew and had the basic skills necessary to be successful and competitive in high school. And it wasn't, until I got to high school that I realized, and seeing my white classmates and my classmates of other ethnicities and cultures who were so far ahead of me in terms of just the basic skills, even things such as science, social studies, things of that nature, that I really got to understand that, how far behind I was just, spending, the first 14 years of my life in a predominantly black school. And as educators, it's our responsibility and our role to bridge that gap and make education more accessible, well, a quality education more accessible to to adolescents of of all ethnicities and cultures. So the reason that this really, strikes a chord with me is because I got to see it firsthand. I got to see those inequalities firsthand, and seeing that how my education going, coming from an all African American school, going into a more culturally diverse school, and how the differences and the inequalities of education really, played a role and played a major factor in just, my transition from elementary school to high school.